Woohoo! Good morning, White Mountain Apache Tribe and planet Earth, people around the world. Good morning. My name is Jerry Gloshay Jr. I'm Chief of Staff for the Executive Office of the Chairwoman of White Mountain Apache Tribe. Gwendena Lee-Gatewood is our Chairwoman. Let's welcome her to the program. Hey, Chairwoman, I had to scramble there and still, oh gosh, it's 80 degrees outside. Feels like 75. Beautiful day today. And we got a good program lined up. We have Dr. McCauley coming on talking about the latest with the coronavirus and things going on with the school. Lots of stuff, a lot of good information. And so how you doing today? Looks like you're at the office.
Yeah, I couldn't get good signal at the house, and then Honda is really busy today. Normally I just go into one of their rooms, but they're pretty busy. So I didn't want to, inconvenience anyone. So I just drove here and I was like, please let the internet be working. So
well,
yeah,
good quality sound, quality picture.
Yeah, I'm here and a very busy day for me today. Drove my daughter back to college, and it was kind of sad because you're used to the everyday hustle and bustle, and I miss her, and I know her brother misses her, and we all miss her. So, but we're proud of her, and we want her to do well. So.
Oh, yeah, she's gotten good grades. I'm aware of that. So she will be a junior?
Yeah.
A sophomore, junior, starting her junior year at Northern Arizona University. All right. Well, best wishes to her and all those returning back to school.
Yeah.
Hope it'll be rewarding. Chairwoman, guess what? I have a hero in my home here. And so I'm going to get adjusted. Yeah, we have, I don't know, you recall last week, very stressful week on a person that was lost, and there was a search and rescue. And I have the person that found the person that was lost after 5 days.
Wow.
Really? Okay, so I'll call, he'll sit down here.
Yeah, go ahead and convene the interview.
Okay, we have right here Willie Zagata. He and his brother were the ones that went out on the hunting party, and they actually found Destiny, who was lost, Quintero, on Tuesday, this past week. She had been missing the week prior, all the way on Thursday somewhere. And so what a story he has to share. Good morning, Willie. How you doing today?
I'm doing good.
Good. You're looking well, fit and fiddle. Well, I don't know really how to start, but on behalf of White Mountain Apache Tribe, thank you for just being knowledgeable and finding her, having the energy, prayer. What took place on the day you found her?
Well, I've been getting info from my friend Dave Slippy. I finally found out that they were searching for her Sunday evening. I was planning on leaving on Monday, but I had to go to work on Monday, so I didn't go. And then I got more info from Dave Slippy again, so I went with my brother around 8 o'clock on Tuesday morning, and we called the police department and told them that which area we're heading, which was KL through the bottom from the 70 road. We left at 8 o'clock, got gas at 7 Mile Store, left up, got below the loafer bench point around 9 o'clock, and we started our hike. And the area that we were looking was the old loafer fire burn from last year, and we searched for antlers in there, go fishing, do a lot of hunting, so we're pretty much familiar with the area. And what we did from the point on the south side of the mountain, we started hiking up on the south facing slope until we came into some people that were actually searching right below where the truck was parked. So we got info from them, but we decided if somebody's lost, they'll head straight for the water. So there's that big Bonita Creek water down below. So me and my brother came up with the plan, and man, just to search the river bottom. My brother crossed over the other side. I stayed on one side, and we started working our way down. And that's when my brother found her track. She was walking along the creek edge, and it does show a clear footprint where she walked through. And then we ran into three more guys, and they're from the East Fork community as well. Mondo, Jordan, and Os. They came down and they helped us search as well. We moved further down, and man, we came across more tracks. So man, so I decided to go up ahead, further ahead, and I ran into another East Fork guy, and his name is Ace. And I came into him, and I told him to wait for my brother Mondo and Jordan, which were about half a mile behind. And right there is when Robbie Vataha, the ranger, came, and he took me back to where my vehicle was parked. And I told him I'm gonna go up ahead to where Little Bonito and Big Bonito to meet up together, and I'm gonna try to get ahead of her and then start working my way from that where that water meets back up to where my brother and them were still tracking her. So as I was driving down south of KR Ranch, is man when she yelled at me across Canyon. So I stopped the truck and walked down, and man, she was in bad condition to where the shirt she had was wrapped around her feet. Her short pants were torn up. She had a blanket that was covering her, and she was walking with just that. And the first thing she said is, "I've been lost for 6 days." And I went over there. Man, she just grabbed me, I held her, and man, she just started crying. And I told her, "Man, you're safe." And it took like about a minute or two, and man, we finally made our way to the vehicles to where man, that morning I packed the shirt in my backpack, and then a sweater, and then a sandwich that I bought, or my wife that bought me that morning, but I only ate half of it. And what I was thinking is I wanted to save that other half for her if I do find her, and which I did, and I gave it to her, and man, she just started eating because she said she was hungry, and from there on out, Robbie came, and from there on out, Robbie took her, but it is a rugged country. There's bear, wolves, mountain lions. Yeah, just a place for no female to be, I guess.
Man,
But,
you were prepared. You said you were going to save her some food. So you were thinking positive.
Yes.
You already saying you're going to find her, and
Yeah.
you did.
Yeah.
And she was barefoot. Was she, the tracks in the mud was no shoes, it's just barefoot, huh?
Yes, just barefoot.
Wow, okay. Yeah. And how far was she from the vehicle, you figure, just guessing?
From guessing 6 miles.
6 miles.
Yep. And from where my brother and them were still tracking her to where I found her, there was still a 3-mile gap in between them. Mm-hmm. So I think if I stuck with them, we wouldn't have found her that day. But the man, just going with my instincts and going up ahead. And, yeah, that's how I found her.
And you said you heard her yell, or you yelled first and she responded? Or
no, she yelled first.
You heard it, huh?
Yeah, I heard it.
Oh.
Yeah.
And the car was running? You heard it?
Yeah, and I was driving, and she yelled, and
okay.
Coming from family members, when they flew her down, when they did a assessment on her, I think she had a punctured lung, is what they're saying. It might have been from the yelling, or just
Oh,
yelling and being scared, or she might have tumbled and got hurt in
wow.
some way. Yeah.
I understand you got interviewed from News Channel 12, huh?
Yeah.
You did?
Yeah. Yesterday. Evening.
Yesterday. Oh,
Yeah.
when did it show, or when will it show?
I believe it's gonna show tomorrow. I'm not sure about what time,
Oh,
but yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
So people watch Channel 12 News all day, and we will hear his story. Man, so you're great. I think the tribe should be ever indebted. Chairwoman, did you want to say anything?
First of all, thank you. I know it was a lot of emotions in that search. I know Game and Fish, was our chief ranger, was the incident commander. When there's a search and rescue out in the wilderness, they're the ones that take charge, and they're the ones that order resources and delegate what needs to happen. So to all the volunteers, everyone that helped, thank you very much. And the one thing that we need to focus on is that she was found alive and that she is doing better. And thanks to you, Willie, you and your brother, the country like the back of your hand. You're always combing through every area of the reservation, and you're very humble. You did what you had to do. You were raised by great parents, one of them who happens to work for me as my assistant. And I'm sure everybody is just very, very thankful. Dani ko jipa of el nansing keso dani ako nya ni brother bisko ain an banin ya ayet bits ayet bis oidi zet nant an el nabil zi hibiwa Asia biwa no khistaujo ana ashona tala ni ma ni ta el dani sta ni kihi je don't sayo in dead and linida jo ba keran sihi out Ndeti kuya Facebook show he tuntel hanayo tsekai saan indeti dainis ko kusha how na wadan ziho ayatati bich dahal detla ana ndani nitsaya how niche outside say how baninyahi a jo don't sayo bakeran zera ana di a shont no chida on la ana da ata John spa on a da indi jo baket enzi how ni atei ni ma ni ta da wan ni ki hi bitsaye yola ana a thank you so much, and we're forever indebted in you, and don't be surprised if we give you a surprise for
All right.
So thank you.
Chairwoman,
Thank you.
Chairwoman Willie, Chairwoman, you just talked about your daughter going to school. I have a daughter. I can only imagine how Dempsey, the father, right, of Destiny, I think that's his. Okay, yeah. Gummy, yeah, that he must have felt. And so all fathers around the world have a real close attachment to the girl, to the daughter. And so it's just so good. 6 days in the wilderness. I mean, no electricity, no cell phone, no flashlight, no knife, no food, no anything, no shoes. And thank goodness for people like you, Willie. God bless you. You have a awesome future, and I'm sure the family, all of the relations are going to never forget you, and the whole family, Waylon too.
Right.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good day, Chairwoman.
You too. Thank you.
Yep.
That's all right. Thank you. Okay. Wow. Wasn't that awesome?
Yeah.
Well, if I had a jukebox in my house, I would put a quarter in and play Let's Go to Lukenbach, Texas. Waylon and Willie and the boys, because they're all right there. You talked about those Eastport boys. They're all, that's okay. But Chairwoman, we also have another special guest, and he is a very important person as well, a doctor. Can you introduce him?
Yes, he's been instrumental in helping the White Mountain Apache tribe. Thank you to Michelle Martinez and the higher up in Indian Health Service. Whenever we do make a last minute request, they do everything to allow us to get special guests on the show for public health purposes. And Dr. McCauley is joining us this morning to give us an update on how COVID-19 is looking, along with the variants, how it's affecting us here. And welcome, Dr. McCauley. Thank you for joining us. And what are we looking at? Are we looking at a third booster for this pandemic?
Good morning, and thank you for inviting me. It's always a pleasure to speak to the audience and the community that we serve. I did want to pause and say something. I was listening to the story, and it's really a moving story of somebody being a hero, but it occurred to me that kind of all of us have a chance to be a hero by just stepping up and getting vaccinated. Because if we get vaccinated and we don't get infected, then we can prevent others around us from becoming infected. So it doesn't seem like a big act, but in a way, even if you're not worried about your own health, you can be a service to your neighbors by just stepping up and being vaccinated. So to the direct question of a third dose, I do think it's so important for all of us to remember that this is not unusual with vaccinations. Our bodies tend to forget a little bit about what they were exposed to over time, and so we have to boost. And those of us who are parents know that our kids have gotten a total of 4 doses of the pneumococcal vaccine and 4 doses of the Haemophilus vaccine and 2 doses of measles. I've been in medicine long enough to know that when we first started with those vaccines 35 plus years ago, we were giving either 1 or 2 doses often, and then later we learned, oh my, we need another dose to kind of remind the immune system. And those of us who are adults know that we get a tetanus shot every 10 years to boost our tetanus immunity, so that if we step on that nail or some other wound,
Right.
we won't get tetanus. So booster doses for COVID. Following people's antibody levels has allowed us to see that they go down over time after vaccination, and they go down over time after you recover from the illness. So shortly after vaccination or getting COVID, your antibodies are pretty high and your body's revved up and able to prevent a new infection pretty well. But over time, those antibodies slowly go down, so it looks like a booster is needed. And the data that shows us that are starting to come in, because remember, we've only been vaccinating for about 8 or 9 months, even though we've vaccinated over half of Americans and there have been over 360 million doses in the US and almost 2 billion doses in the world. So it's not a new vaccine in that sense. Lots of people have gotten it. But because we've now followed those people, we've learned that the antibodies go down. So as of today, we are recommending that if you are in any of a category that is immune suppressed, you come in now and get a booster. We fully anticipate within the next week or so getting the recommendation that starting in September or early October, everyone would be recommended for a booster. And the reason we're waiting is that's about 8 or 9 months after the first group of us who got vaccinated early will be ready for our booster. So that's the status of the booster. I want people to remember it doesn't mean the vaccine doesn't work. It just means this vaccine is like so many others that requires a later booster.
Thank you. And then with the schools, your IHS is working effectively with the schools to do pool testing. So it's not like the children at the schools are just left on their own. There's weekly testing going on. I know that's happening at our Theodore Roosevelt School. And I think White River Unified School District addressed those for the kids. And right now the immunization stands 12 on up, correct?
Correct. So right now the vaccine's approved with emergency use for 12 and up. And everybody expects that it'll get full of approval within the next couple of days to a few weeks. So that's good. But it's only down to age 12. So our kids under 12 are not yet eligible for the vaccine. There are studies being done to show that it works for them and to prove that it's safe. And as soon as those studies are available, I'm sure we'll be recommended to vaccinate them. But in the meantime, we certainly ask all of us over 12 to get vaccinated so we don't give it to our friends and children. And then you're right, we're testing at the schools. And Johns Hopkins is working with the schools. And actually all the schools on the reservation are participating. And what they do is they test each school classroom together. And so it's called pooled testing. It's really kind of clever and it makes it a little faster. So if you have 10 kids in a classroom, you take 10 specimens and you put them all in one test tube, if you will, and you test it. And if it's negative, then you know that all 10 are negative. But if it's positive, you know that one of those 10 at least is positive, and then you have to go back and test the individual samples. But what it does is it allows us to test large numbers fast. So right now we're testing about 650 kids plus their teachers each week using that technique. But it means we only have to do the test about 70 times because about 10 per group are being tested. So it's a really clever way to do it. It is approved, and many labs are doing it for large scale testing.
Oh, good. That's good to know. And then at the schools, you know, the kids have to obey wearing masks or whatever the mandates are at school. But what the teachers and the staff at the schools don't control is when the child goes home. And when the child goes home and they're out and about, that's where we don't have control over where there's contact with maybe someone who is positive. And that gets a little scary. So what suggestions do you have? Just going through the same protocols of washing your hands and sanitizing?
Yeah, I'm afraid it's the same thing. It gets boring, I guess, but wash your hands, wear your mask, be safe. Don't put yourself in situations, you know, people in a car, somebody's sick and coughing and we all pile in. That's a dangerous situation. So you want to continue to be safe and do the right thing. And I will say, I have 4 kids. They're all adults now. A lot of what happens with your kids is what you model. So it's really important for the parents to model the behavior they want in their children. So when I get in the car with my kids when they were little, even if I didn't want to mess up my nice suit, I'd put my seatbelt on because I want everybody to know the seatbelt is what you do. So I think it's the same thing with masks and washing hands. All of us have to model for our children so that they get used to it.
Oh, good. And Jerry, do you have any comments or questions?
You know, at one point in time, I think we had only 2 people that were positive in the homeland not too long ago. Now I think we're over 100, and I don't know what's going on. Would you know maybe what is it? The folks that are basically unvaccinated, or are folks that are vaccinated getting it
Again,
or I don't know.
That's a really good question. And I think it is feeding some of the concerns people have about the vaccine, because the truth is some people who get vaccinated can get reinfected. We call that vaccine breakthrough infection. And overall, it's about 1% to 2% of vaccinated people in the US. And that's what we're seeing here on the reservation. So because almost 65% of our population are vaccinated, and because we do have the virus present again, another wave, some of those vaccinated people have gotten infected. But the really good news is, to date, none of the people who are vaccinated who got infected have been very sick. A few have been hospitalized, but they've been hospitalized here, and it's been short and they've done well. On the other hand, people who aren't vaccinated who get infected, we're still seeing some very sick people and people who need to be flown out. So the vaccine doesn't completely protect you from getting reinfected, but it does a very good job protecting you from getting very sick if you happen to get reinfected.
Okay. So we just need to continue our due diligence, everybody. Just be smart. We all know what to do.
We do, and
Okay.
It's unfortunate. All of us would have loved it to go away. You know, our healthcare workers more than anybody, we're tired, and we hate to see our people that we serve suffer, but we still have to be diligent. We have to do our part. And I really think doing our part, I was thinking about this, I'll show my faith side. I think wearing a mask and getting a vaccine is an example of loving your neighbor. it's the right thing to do to help others, even if you're not so worried about yourself, although you should be, because you can get very sick from COVID, but it's really the right thing to do for your neighbor.
Okay.
That's true. And I'm so glad that you talked about the third booster. Along with the fall season, I know we get flu shots. Are we able to get the flu shot and that at the same time, or will there be any measures that we should be aware of with that?
So I haven't seen the formal recommendation, but towards the end of last spring, when we were rolling out the vaccine, the information started to surface that it was okay to give the two together. So I hope we have guidance in the next week or two, but my anticipation is that we'll be allowed to give both at the same time. So it'll be like our usual activity every fall where we try to get everybody a flu shot, only this time there'll be two vaccines. I suspect the studies of putting them together in the same syringe are not yet done. So it may mean one visit, two needles instead of one visit, one needle. Perhaps down the road, it'll be one visit, one needle. As many of you know, our children get a lot of the different vaccines in one syringe, so they don't have to get multiple needle sticks. And maybe that's where we'll be a year or two from now, where each fall we get a vaccine for flu that's combined with the COVID, but we don't have that yet. So I'm afraid we'll have to get used to the idea of two little needle sticks, at least for the foreseeable future.
Okay, well, thank you very much. And really appreciate the White River Indian Health Service, Johns Hopkins, CHR, all of the health professionals, EMS, fire, law enforcement, even just everybody doing their part in helping here locally with our own White Mountain Apache reservation. And I know it takes time away from your families. You're at the office on a Saturday, many thanks. And you're right, we do need to be our own heroes to our own families, get our vaccines so that protection layer gets even better. And this virus can calm even more until it's no longer around. And what a joy that would be if we are able to eradicate it. But that depends on each person to go and do their part.
Right. And it's my pleasure to serve and to work. And I do want to end on a positive note. I think this community is one of the best communities you could work with. The people are generally cooperative. We have very high vaccine rates compared to other parts of the country. And it's really a joy to work here, and so a pleasure to serve this community. So thank you, and have a great day.
You too. Thank you very much, Dr. McCauley. Thank you.
Thank you. Wow, that's good. What percent he say we have here at the homeland? 68 or 65?
62, I think.
Well, 62. Okay.
Yeah, we need to be at 70%. We're at 104 positives. We're moving to phase 2. We're moving back. So
we're moving back to phase 2?
Yeah, as of Monday, we'll be moving back to phase 2. That'll mean curfew. You can still have, here we go, the press release. It shows that we'll go back to phase 2 on Monday. Just some quick points that we have here. Tribal offices are open by appointment only. Employee check-in and procedures, site management practices, vehicle use policy in effect. And then the gatherings, what you probably are interested in, church services are allowed with the church safety plan. Sunrise dances are allowed with traditional and gathering guidelines. Fishing, hunting, woodcutting, all of those are allowed with the ordinances that have been approved. Camping as well. Cattle associations, tailgate is okay. Birthday parties are allowed with no more than 15 people in attendance, but drive-up parties are preferred. Family gatherings, no more than 15. Indoor sporting events, only the players. Outdoor, you need to follow the sports events guidance. One-night wakes are okay with the indoor and outdoor event guidelines applying. Memorial dinners too, and weddings. Exercise may continue. And a mask mandate continues to be in effect on the Fort Apache Indian Reservation. Keep washing your hands, sanitizing, and the White River Service Unit is doing COVID-19 vaccines at various communities and by appointments. So please get yours. And that is the press release thus far for phase 2, Jerry.
Wow. So I guess a rule, just wear your mask when you leave your home. I happened to go to the tailgate and I was the only one there. And I was walking without a mask halfway, and I thought, turn around. So I went back and got the mask, even though I was by myself, and the people that was selling. So got to do it, just got to do it. And we're still doing it here at your office, So we just all got to try to do the best that we can. I don't want COVID. I hope I never get it. I hope no one ever gets it, but it all depends on us. So we got to keep trying our best. All right. Well, Chairwoman, we lost a tribal leader recently, and he is the former chairman of the tribe. Can you introduce this segment?
Mr. Producer, if you could put up the memorial card. There we go. Jerry, go ahead.
Okay, this is Wally Davis Jr. I got a chance to know him way back around 2008 or so. That's when we got together with Apache Alliance, and he was the cultural specialist for Tonto Apache Tribe. Huge Pittsburgh Steelers fan. He's got a nice truck that's black and gold. Anyway, he passed away. So his service is going to be on September 4 at 10 a.m. Tonto Apache Gymnasium. They're asking everyone to wear a mask. And one thing that I can recall from Chairman Loopy and the late former Chairman Wally Davis Jr. can attest to it, could have attested to it, is that the former Senator John McCain and Chairman Loopy were the two instrumental players to get that piece of land where they are at right now, where the Madizel Casino is at, and that little housing area, the work area. And so Mr. Davis was always appreciative towards Chairman Loopy on that. And Mr. Davis was just a kind person, inviting White Mountain Apache Tribe for their celebration. It was always in the fall. I remember you could hear bull elk in the distance. It was cold, but it was I don't want to guess the date, but I think late October. And so that's when they have their celebration. And we used to walk across the highway where that rodeo ground is, by the across Madizel Casino, and we'd have the police shut off the road there, and there'd be a walk all the way to the casino, and there'd be dancing and stuff. So he was always looking forward to that. But he'll be missed, and just wanted to share a little bit about that. Thank you, Chairwoman.
Yes, and the Tonto Apache Tribe, they number very few, but they're strong in spirit. They're very courageous. They're good neighbors of ours, and we want to let you know that we have you in our prayers, and to the family of Wally Davis Jr., our thoughts and prayers, and being an instrumental leader in Indian country as a former chairman, doing his part to advocate for his people. And that advocacy also extended to all the other tribes. So he was very strong, compassionate, have a lot of integrity in doing what he did. So, we've lost a great man, and our thoughts and prayers to Tonto Apache Nation.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. Now we have some photos here. I guess maybe just to choose one from random. Right inside your office, we were able to celebrate your intern who had her last day with us. Right there she is on Wednesday, and that is Jalen Begay. Madam Chairwoman?
Yeah, Jalen Begay was our intern. She's been with us for about 3 months. She's a very outstanding worker. She's going to Fort Lewis College, but she was not one to say she didn't want to do a task. She just did it. And one day, I have to tell you, I had a huge lamp that I wanted to be put together, and I couldn't find anyone. And I said, Jalen, can you just put this together for me? And within 30 minutes, she put it together. But she wrote letters, she returned phone calls, she ran the mail, answered the phones. She did a lot, and she did it well. And she's going to Fort Lewis, and we wish her well. And we're all going to miss her. She's very efficient and very, very strong in her ability to get administrative tasks done.
Good, good. So congratulations, Jalen, and best wishes in your upcoming semester. And so she's able to enjoy the family just a little bit before she travels to Colorado. Wow.
Wow.
So congratulations. Also, we have another photo of Nine Claws, the Outfitters, Chairwoman.
Yes, Nine Claws.
Whoa.
Yeah, Nine Claws Outfitters. They've been in business over 20 years. And this gentleman here learned all of his hunting techniques from his dad, who was a game ranger for the White Mountain Apache tribe. Back then, they did a lot of their work on horseback. And some of the greats that I can name off, Ike Casey, David Kitchian, Louis Zospa, Hank Lavender, a lot of those men, and the late Phil Stago also running the operation. Some of them have passed, some are still with us, but the hunting techniques been given down to this gentleman, and Nine Claws Outfitters got this bear not last week, but the week prior. And it's a very big bear. And if in the hunting world, how you do wildland conservation efforts, and how not to overpopulate one species, those types of things come into play. And the hunter comes from Tyler, Texas. So congratulations to the gentleman from Tyler, Texas, who took home this big bear. So I just wanted to say congratulations.
Looks like a grizzly.
Yeah.
It almost looks like a grizzly bear. I know there's no grizzly. I don't think there's no grizzly bear on the res, but man, yeah, it's not black. It is probably a black bear, but its color looks different, and that is huge. I think they would have got a close up on the claws. That would have been nice.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Also, this past week, Chairwoman, I believe you attended a private flag raising ceremony.
Yeah.
And you want to talk about that and share what you saw?
Yeah. Over on the way to Sibique, they call it Jackrabbit Flats. White River Police Department took over the flag raising for those 3 flag poles that you see on your way into Sibique. Anyway, we went and attended that ceremony. We have a video clipping that we want to show you at this time that shows some children singing, and the gun firing off of the rifles, I think it is. But Mr. Producer, if you could show that video footage right now.
Rifle King, prepare to fire off 3 volleys. Rifle King, attention! Forward, turn! Left, right! Ready!
Okay. Get ready. Look right there. You can sing now. Are you ready? Are we next now? Okay. Let's sing now. Get ready. Sing out loud now. Okay, let's go.
That was cute. All right.
They sang the anthem in our language, and the White River Police Department will be taking over the responsibility of raising the flags. You know, there's not anything that they turn down when it comes to community service. They're right there. They're willing to do it. And it's under the leadership of Theodore Shaw and his crew there, and Councilman Tisay and Beach were on hand. Miss Cibicu, the students there and their parents were there. Our Cibicu complex staff was there. Shannon's mom helped make the breakfast. Matthias, the public information officer for White River Police Department. There was just a lot of people that were there, and it was really raining a lot before the footage took place. But, you know, with the American flag, it represents a lot of emotions. But for the White Mountain Apache people, it also represents pride of who we are and the land that we help defend. I always say it's a part of our DNA because our ancestors fought for the land to protect home and family. And that's what our military people do to this day. And a lot of our men and women from the tribe enlist in the military to do just that, protect our homelands so that we can live in peace and safety. And the ultimate sacrifice that some pay to defend our country, you know, it's done with integrity and respect. And I have to congratulate Miss Susan, who gave some thoughts about that. And I don't know if the footage is there on her speaking about the children, but if not, that's fine. But Mrs. Susan has done an outstanding job teaching those children to sing in our traditional language, and also teaching them the traditional language conversation-wise. And a very, very important ceremony that was done under the leadership of the late John Williams, who was a veteran of Carrizo, who had the vision to continue honoring our flags and raising the flags up. And you know, Jerry, our former boss, the late Chairman Lupi, was also a military veteran in the Marines, serving in the Korean War. And a lot of these gentlemen have done so much, and women, to serve and protect. And if it wasn't for them, we wouldn't be here doing what we need to do. And we need to teach our children about respecting the flag, why we say what we need to say in terms of the Pledge of Allegiance, the national anthem. History is very important of who we are as a people. as Apaches, but it's also important to learn about the history of our country and what our ancestors have gone through and what our relatives, closer relatives, not, further closer to this generation, and in terms of teaching them about how our relatives enlist in the military and what that means, and why we need to be respectful and obeying the laws of the land, and doing our part to have a beautiful country, and doing our part so that we can all live in peace and safety. So that was a ceremony that we went to out in Sibique. It was very humbling.
I remember the late John Williams. He had a passion for that, and his vision still plays out today. It's so neat. Those police officers shooting in unison. I mean, that's perfect too in itself. And then the scenery is all green, and I guess it stopped raining because you mentioned it was raining a lot before, and then the kids finished it off with the blast. So all in all, a good day out there on your way towards Sibique, in the middle of the junction and the community of Sibique. So hopefully I'll get a chance to go drive by and check it out. Looks nice.
Yeah, it looks nice. And another photo that we want to show is a black and white photo of our former vice chairman, Johnny Enfield. There is the photo. And he told me that this is the summer youth group that every summer during their youth days, Johnny Enfield Jr. with his cousins, the sponsor being Mr. Enfield and Mr. Bones. This was probably a photo from the late 50s or early 60s. These young boys, Jerry and viewers, every summer they would hike up to the W and paint the W. And that was their project. And this was a memory that he wanted to share with everybody, and very, very humbling and a cherished memory. Just doing that every summer with White River Lutheran Pioneer Boys. That was what he mentioned. Okay.
Yeah, they almost look like the Little Rascals, but they are the Pioneer Boys. And so I'm reading his email. It says, good morning. I just sent you a photo of an old picture of White River Lutheran Pioneer Boys that used to up and paint the W every summer during our youth days. And there in the picture is myself and two of my cousins, and my big cousin standing behind us, and two of our sponsors, the late Mr. Enfield and Mr. Bones. They're in their late 50s or 60s. And yeah, so I wonder which one was he. Johnny, but wow, that's pretty neat. The pioneers.
Yeah. Johnny's tall. He's a tall man, so it has to be one of those really tall boys in the photo.
Yeah. All right. Well, that is good. So wow, that's a high journey.
I'm looking at it right now, and it's really a big,
oh yeah, you're right there.
It's a climb. So.
Oh gosh. Okay, I'm going back to. Was there an announcement from White River Unified School District?
Yes, have anything? They'll be having a meeting, I believe, on Monday about their online opportunity for parents. And, and how they'll be doing that process. And you can watch it on their White River Unified School District Facebook page, or you can listen in by the phone. But they'll be talking about if you are a parent wanting to do online learning for your child, and what protocols will need to happen. And school is still in session. There's been a lot of high anxiety, Jerry, from parents that are wondering, why aren't you shutting the school down? What's going on here? But it's not as easy as you think that you could shut a school down. You have to remember we have the vaccine now. We have protocols in place, and each school has their safety practices in place on what they are doing. And you heard from Dr. McCauley earlier telling us that the schools are working with Johns Hopkins, Indian Health Service, all of the health officials to make sure that they're running their classrooms efficiently. And parents and guardians out there, we cannot stress enough, they're doing their part at school to keep the kids safe. It'll also fall on you to make sure that when the kids get home, you still practice those same protocols. And we can't control when people go home. Just like at work, we can follow all the guidelines from 8 to 5 or whatever the work hours are. But when the employees go home, what they do after that, if they wear their mask or not, wash their hands or not, that plays a big role. So we need to share that responsibility of making sure that we're doing our part. And we cannot stress that enough.
So that online program is at 5:15 on the White River Unified School District website. It's at 5:15 on Monday evening. So be sure to catch that. This could be a viable option for some people that are concerned, about, as what the chairwoman just mentioned. And I am also aware about the benefits of having live school session. So there's, kind of a give and take. There's a pull and a push on both sides. So maybe you can hear what's going on the website and make your choice as to what will be provided. So Monday, 5:15, White River Unified School District website. All right. Chairwoman, I was going to say that I thought, yeah, Day of Remembrance. Do you want to share a little bit about that?
Yes, we have told you from the last show on the death of former Legislative Affairs Assistant to the Vice Chairman, Jerome Casey III, Brennan Parrish. It has really torn our hearts, and he was a very strong advocate and leader, loved his children. That was his primary focus, was his children. He would do anything for his children, even if it meant sacrificing something. And the epitome of being a dad to those kids, and raised by good parents and good family, Christian family. And the vice chair requested that there be a day of remembrance. And I agree that the Day of Remembrance should be given, and we will have that on Tuesday, the day of his funeral. And on that day, all flags are to be flown at half staff, and there will be no work that day. So.
Okay. Wow. Thank you. I think that's deserving of the young man who just a kind person all the way around when it came to work. That's how I got to know him. He was a ASU guy, real clean desk all the time. I mean, all the time. It was compared to mine. Oh my gosh. But anyway, it's no comparison. He's clean, and he even had a Trump bumper sticker I saw. But that's okay. I mean, that's his prerogative. But he was very efficient and got things done. That was number one. And so good gesture on the high office, the vice chairman's office, for recommending that. Thank you on behalf of the employees. And so, yeah, I plan to partake. Hopefully I'll be able to attend the event. I don't know how they're going to do the protocol with the COVID stuff, but I would like to be there. Really would. All right, Chairwoman. Is there anything else that we might have missed?
I have been getting tons of inquiries on where's my check. I haven't gotten my check. It's all your fault, Chairwoman. I haven't gotten my check. So for those of you asking questions, there's some issues with incomplete applications. You need to submit a photo ID. You need to get your vaccine card notarized. If not, send in a immunization record from the health center where you're getting your care. And a notarized card, Jerry, there's a lot of people going to your Walgreens, Target, drive-through places where you can get shots. So they are requesting those. And I've been getting so many questions about that. And people sending in duplicate applications. So let's say, Jerry, you turn in your application yesterday, and today you're wondering if they sent your check. So you're like, I didn't hear anything, so let me send another application. And then Monday, you're like, I still don't have my check. I better send them another application. Maybe they didn't get it. And then Tuesday, you're hand delivering another application. It only needs one application. And the more you send in, the more you're backlog stamping yourself. You're making yourself fall to the back of the line, if you will. Please don't send multiple applications. They only need one. And if you're wondering, did they get it? I haven't heard anything. Why hasn't anyone told me? Mr. Producer, if you could put up the phone numbers at this time. Right there, numbers that you can call in for inquiries. Make sure you try all of them. There's somebody at each phone, and they will give you an update. It's very important that you remember the exact day that you turned it in. They go by dates. Right now, they are doing August 2nd through the 6th applications. As of August 20th, they have mailed out 5,456 checks, and they're going to be all mailed out because of the COVID numbers rising, even more at this time. So they'll be mailing out the rest of the checks. But this week, they're working on August 2nd through the 6th applications. So there's a lot of people that have profile names on Facebook that they think is cute and funny. And then they ask, how come I haven't gotten my check? What are you doing? And I'm asking them, what is your name? And some people actually get offended by it. And I'm like, you don't have your picture on your profile. Your profile name is not your real name. So for example, Jerry, let's say you're getting after me, but you have Tiger G as your profile name. And and you're like, it's all your fault. And I'm trying to help you. And I'm like, well, what is your name? And you're like, Tiger G. And then I'm like, all right. I go and ask my finance, do you have a Tiger G on your records? They're like, no. So very important to have your proper name, have a picture of who you are, because sometimes some of the Facebook profiles don't have a photo and they'll have a different name. And I'm asking you questions because you're asking me, and I'm trying to help you get you to the right, area. But if you don't have your appropriate, your legal name and how to contact you, I can only forward them so much. And that probably applies for all the other council members who get those inquiries. And it can be a little challenging, but that's the update as of today. And all of those phone numbers, it'll be probably on the message line there for you to refer to. Please be patient. The workers there are doing all that they can to process those checks. They're getting a lot of harassing phone calls every now and then, and that's not helping the situation. It's counterproductive. So we're doing what we can. And for those of you that are wondering, why am I not getting paid? There's a protocol to what you need to do to get paid. And you can visit our tribal website to get the form there as well. So
I even heard some got after the postal people of all.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Might as well get mad at, I don't know. I don't know. Blame anybody. The locksmith guy, because he didn't make the correct key to the thing and the lock and blah blah blah. I mean, you just can't blame anybody. But it's surprising, little discouraging to hear that they're upset with you, as if you have control of you got all those checks behind you, sitting behind you back there, and you're saying, oh, not this guy, no. I mean, you don't even have any of the checks. It's all over there at a different office, and they're working directly.
It's the responsibility of the treasurer.
Yeah, so it's I don't know. It's weird. But believe it or not, too, Chairwoman, I haven't gotten mine, and I turned mine in on the first batch. But I'm patient, and I'm thinking positive it'll come in soon. So somebody else in this house did cartwheels right in front of me, and I was, what's going on? Like, she's waving the green paper in my face. And like, "Ugh." So anyway, just kidding. All right, Chairwoman. I think that's all we got. I don't know if there was anything else. It's closing prayer. Before we go, I happened to took this photo last night, and it was just right out there by the paved road in front of my house. Very bright moon. Look at that. And even the star is kind of bright. So full moon. I don't know if it was full moon last night or if it's tonight, but yeah, I enjoyed it. So maybe you can enjoy it too. But remember, 10 o'clock curfew. All right, Chairwoman. Well, it looks like we are gonna be going our own ways here. I got a few things going on tomorrow, but today, relaxing. I might just start working on the weeds. I don't like looking at it. So, are we expecting rain?
I don't think so. We've had our share of rain this week, but my son is very into the weather, and he said we won't get any rain for a couple days.
Oh, okay.
So, which if you need to do outdoor chores, that will help.
Yeah. Get wood, right?
Yeah, get wood. The winter's coming. You can go get wood. Marty goes and checks wood permits, and yesterday he's like, there was nobody around. People must have got their checks. There was nobody around. So, we know every year it snows here in the winter time. It gets cold. Mm-hmm. So while it's warm, you have every opportunity to go and get your wood. And the hunting draws are open, so put in for your draw. And I have to tell you, Jerry, when that bear photo was posted, some people were kind of upset, saying that's my clan. And this whole discussion about the clan system came up, and I have to hand it to this one gentleman who said, well, if you're going to get mad about wildlife conservation of a bear population and how all that works in, then how about all the butterflies that hit your windshield? And how about all the butterfly clans and the road runners you run over and the eagle feathers that hang in your car? And, he just was going on, and everybody just kind of like, okay, but.
People just want to complain about anything, I guess. So that's why I don't have Facebook, to be honest with you, for that reason right there.
Yeah.
But anyway, it's okay. It's okay.
Yeah, it's okay. It's just, something that people maybe misunderstand. The hunters have a different viewpoint versus, and it's a place where people can voice their opinions. And I'm often the target of all kinds of opinions, but Chairman Lupi always said it
comes with the territory.
It's always going to be there, and you just keep moving forward and doing what you need to do. So,
yeah. All right, I'm glad you brought it up. They are open at Game and Fish, so 3 tickets per draw for each species, meaning whitetail. You got different zones to choose from. Either trophy or general. And so let's say you want trophy, you want zone 1 and zone 2, you can go 6 in zone 1 and 2 in zone 2, and good luck with your chance. Make sure you put it in the right box. And same with mule deer, general elk, you got zones to choose from, but you can only buy 8. So that's it. So good luck to you, and get wood. Yes, indeed. Not going to rain for a while. Chairwoman, recapping. Wow, we talked to the guy that found the person that was lost after 6 days.
Mhm.
We are going back to phase 2. The doctor says they're now looking into the booster shots. Yeah. And the school's having a big meeting on Monday, 5:15 on their website. The little kids still singing Apache languages. I mean, it's good show. Everything excellent. So closing prayer now, I guess, if you don't have anything else.
No, I don't. So, but thank you all for watching. This is just bringing, the community news and neighboring news to you. I know we have tribal members far and wide watching, and all the other viewers as well. We really appreciate you and doing our part and to sharing our news with all of you. And if you have something to share, some good news, someone going off to the military, a birthday wish, anything, send it to us. We'll be glad to put it on the screen and share that the news with everyone else. And
even photos too, huh?
Yeah,
like
photos.
Johnny Enfield did.
Yeah, like just sharing a part of history. It's very important to teach our children about history, and we'll be gladly put it up. So thank you all for watching today, and we'll go ahead and go into the closing prayer. Jerry, you said it last show. I'll go ahead and say it now. So Mr. Producer, we'll go into closing prayer now. Bikahidan no hita ashona tala de change and a hansik di de ko di naday ni hi Facebook show but da aras nitla ashona tala no heshinli ashona tala ni daw jonay bikada on United States of America will zaydag ora haj ni gustan bikat dan sti hodolesh dit ehe yohan yel bich anawayo bishnli dolesh no hijagasha dai tiso bidaristi on ima ita dan i guardians dan I lege baran sta ons hala dan izi yedak o dan o sesto leshibiwa di istand o yai ba ilte I jodon sanyo ba keran zera and di lao yai ti leshin di da ko ninits ayat nich era ka hi bits ayat ko no hasaun la hi Jordan Zayo ba keran zera Willie Zagata and Dishtot Whalen da waha akona rans taklashin a ahya biltauj ba in de lege ich arau diu Jordan Zayo ba keran zera asitini da wa akosa at in Dishtot and at dirichi in de hayuna da kayo bi kadans dio the less biskojon na da kaile da chak you nabin zi da ni bonsi hat iben nalzihi ana di the how ta dasen zi le yo hanaudin ana di ashora tala di nijajish kin hans ti kanaudit hi bells hi bits aya ana ahya di nich ichba adan di nijajish kin biji bikayo nich ichba adan di na yan is gonna Jesus Christ. Amen.